back to Wrap It Up with Radio Raheem. I'm your host, Jamal Radio Raheem. For those who are new to this, Wrap It Up is a show where we talk about music topics, the top 10 lists, album reviews, just random music topics. We do that. This is what we do over here. Now, this is part two of the conversation that I had with Kevin, aka Vibes Only, aka Bars Only on SoundCloud. Because the episode that we did, it was a little bit long, and I know people don't want to be on YouTube watching a video for an hour long. Well, some people. I enjoy it. But listen to the conversation that we had. We talked about a lot of stuff from concert experiences and to Texas music to a whole bunch. So enjoy the conversation, and I'll catch y'all on the back end. Yeah, I listened to a lot of music, even when I was before the pandemic, but I've seen a lot of the artists you just named in concert. I haven't seen Giveon, or Cash Page, but I've seen a lot of people in concert, and I would say Smino. Smino, his show was amazing.
I saw him at South by Southwest one year.
Oh, okay.
He killed that shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
live Smino. He tore it down for sure.
Because I used to go to a lot of concerts, and really I went to a couple festivals, and it's so weird. Like I think it was Day in Vegas. It was a festival in Vegas, and they had the lineup was good, but the way they did the stages was terrible. So they'll have like a artist who was like big or about to be big. They had him on the wrong stage. Like they had Megan Thee Stallion on like the up and coming stage, but like by the time the festival had came out, she was like out of here. So like the way they did it was kind of trash. But like it was so weird because Black came on, and like people were like, not really like into it. They're over there because they're waiting for Tyler the Creator. Tyler the Creator is about to come on after. So the people who are over there are all like,
Yeah, they weren't really onto Black like that.
They're not Black fans. This is put it that way. They were there for Tyler the Creator, which I get too, but. So I was like, oh, they're not really getting this set. This is a good like set. It was a good set. And I was like, oh, they're not getting this. And then Tyler the Creator came in, and like I seen so many white people that I'd never thought, like they just came out of nowhere. It was like it was like insane. But I was like, oh, okay. Cause you don't know how big somebody is until you go see them in a concert. That's how I say you don't get how big their fandom is and stuff like that. And then let's see, do I have another question? Let's see. I don't know if I have another question, but
I got a question. What are some of your like favorite concerts you've been to? I'm a big concert guy too, so I used to like I said before the pandemic, I was trying to like get them in, but
I've seen. So the first concert I've been to was a festival. It was Rock the Bells. There's this, and it was the lineup was fucking crazy. Like it was like J. Cole. This was before Kendrick and them blew up. So like TDE, it was like all of them, like Schoolboy, J Rock, Absol, but they were like about to blow, and like we're from California, so we know them, like being from Southern California, but they didn't blow up yet. So they came on at 5. It had like Ice Cube was there, Wiz Khalifa, DMX was there. There were so many people there, like Big Daddy Kane, Salt and Pepper. This was a huge festival. It was my first like concert.
It's Rock the Bells. I follow a lot of festivals. I know Rock the Bells is a big.
Yeah, I didn't. So that probably shouldn't have been my first concert. It was ridiculous. I was so tired, like, and it was 12-hour days. So you're like, I was so.
Festivals, that first festival is like, oh shit, this is what we doing all day.
Yeah, I was excited. So we were so excited. We were like, oh, let's go at 12. Right when it opens, and like I'm glad we did because the lineup was crazy. Like Future didn't blow yet. Tyga didn't blow yet. So these people were on like super early. So we got to see them before they blew. But I didn't know I can get sunburned. That's how I found out that I can get sunburned. Black people don't get sunburned. But
That's not for us.
that's how I found out. But
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people. I went to On the Run, the Beyonce and Jay Z. I think 2 years ago, and that one I was like, oh, Beyonce's just out of here. Ain't nobody
Nah.
performing like that,
Yeah,
dancing and
especially when it's
singing.
live, you're like, oh, that's different.
She's on another level. Like I wasn't a big Beyonce fan. Like my sister's a super fan. And I
Yeah.
went with her and I was like, oh, I got way more respect for her after like seeing her live. I was like, she's doing all this by dancing.
Yeah.
She's doing all this in heels. Like there's no way she. But I've seen a lot of people. I've seen J. Cole probably. I've seen him every time he's done an album except KOD. And I didn't get to see KOD, the KOD tour. My sister bought me tickets, but it was my first day of starting a new job. So I was like, yo, I can't miss this. I
Yeah.
can't miss the first day of work. And it was like too far for me to be able to go. I was like, can't go. But J. Cole, I've seen him. I've pretty much seen every big rapper I think I've seen. Or I won't even say that. There's certain big rappers I haven't seen. Like I haven't
Yeah,
seen
the
Lil Wayne or
main
Kanye.
ones, all the main ones, yeah.
Like I've seen Big Crit. I would say Big Crit. He had a show. This is when I was in college too. His album Cadillactica. He
Yeah.
had like a Cadillac like as his DJ set type of thing,
I
and
remember that.
he slept on to me, but that was dope. I
Yeah,
bet.
no, I think
I,
in Texas, we get to see them a lot because or earlier because of South by Southwest. So we always get to see a lot of those artists come down because
oh
South
yeah,
by
they got to go to Austin. Yeah,
yeah, they come down to Austin, and it's like that helps catapult a lot of artists, and they come down here, they get a lot of good looks, especially if you're kind of on the buzz. So we get to see a lot of those dudes before they blow up. So like Craig, Kendrick, Cole, all them dudes, we got to see them, when they were still trying to.
yeah. Like when I was in college and I lived in LA, we went to so many concerts and like like if you're an artist, you kind of have to go to LA. Like
Yeah,
you're on tour, you have to go to LA.
you have to go there for sure.
So like we'll see like artists for like $15, and like because they haven't blew up yet, and they're performing at this little venue. There's this place called like it's like Echoplex or whatever. They might have changed the name. I've been there so many times. Like I see
Yeah,
artists for like $15, and you're like, oh, this is amazing.
yeah,
You get a 2 hour like show. The opener be good sometimes, but like sometimes it's local people. I'd be like, oh, you pretty dope. Let me look up your music.
exactly.
But
That's
I've
cool.
seen it's weird. I would say some shows are weird because of like the content like the artists are talking about. So like
Uh,
where I'm seeing like an artist like who's all right, I'm gonna use Kendrick. Like Kendrick, right? If he's performing something from like To Pimp a Butterfly or something, and he's talking about black like issues and stuff like that, and then the whole crowd is white because it's California. So it's kind of those are weird situations because you're like, I mean, like you guys aren't getting this. I don't think you're understanding what he's saying.
just because you like him, but you're not understanding what he's really
Yeah,
saying.
like you like the singles. I'm like, but like I've seen artists like I've seen who Xavier Omar is.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's from
So
San Antonio. He's from San
oh, he
Antonio,
is from
right?
Texas. I mean, Texas
So
got everybody's from Texas, really. The Beyonce, but him, I've seen him 4 times. Two was at a festival at two different festivals, and then I saw him like his concert, and it's so different because I've seen him in Oakland. I
okay,
saw him in Santa Cruz, which is a completely different crowd. Saw him in LA, and I saw him in San Diego. I like literally all of California basically. And I every time it's a different place, the energy is so different. It's so weird to me.
it's just the
He's
same.
always gonna put on the show. Like
Yeah.
he's great.
Mhm.
But like you can tell the energy, like people who are here for one song. Like there's people who are there for Blind Man and then they're done. So like he's performing and he gets Blind Man out the way. Like
Uh,
he was like, all right, I'm tired of performing this song, but I gotta do it because I know some people want to hear it. And he
and
performed it. But now after you performed it, you know there's people who don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I miss concerts a lot.
Yo, me too. Me too, man. I'm just waiting to for some of this stuff to change so we can do something.
Cause there's a that it was like Lovers and Friends that was supposed to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I waited, tell you, I waited in my place in line online for them tickets, and then when they canceled it, I was so hurt. I was like, I was willing
Yeah.
to like put a couple
Yeah.
masks on if I had to.
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy.
I was like, Lauren Hill. Oh, we're going. I don't care if
Yeah.
she shows up 10 hours
Yeah.
late.
There's like one or two people. It's like just seeing those two or three people is worth going. Period.
So yeah, it was
Wow.
like we had people bought like plane tickets to come to California. They were gonna stay with us.
Oh
we
yeah.
was like, oh, it's
People
canceled.
coming from all over to try to get to that. I remember that.
But yeah, I know I miss concerts. I haven't been to one because of this whole because we shut down earlier. Santa Clara County,
Uh-huh.
we shut down earlier than like the rest of the world or the rest of the USA.
Yeah.
So like when it hit the whole USA, we already had it here. Like COVID was already here, so we was already shut down. Like most people shut down in like May or March or whatever. We was kind of shut down in February
Oh wow.
because there were so many restrictions and stuff like that. We got a lot of people who like travel to China and come back. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense why we got it. But
Yeah,
like
because
people weren't taking it serious, and now we're here. Now we're in this situation.
exactly. Now we're here, right?
Can't go to no concerts. Concerts are never gonna be the same. Like we're gonna be sitting there.
Next shoulder to shoulder with somebody. Nah.
I
Yeah.
honestly like it depends on like the artist. Like cause I can be certain artists, I don't wanna I just wanna just sit there and enjoy it.
Nah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then certain artists, I'm not naturally like super hyped, but some artists I'm like, oh I'm hyped. Like
Uh-huh.
let's go.
Trying to experience it, yeah.
Because I don't like them little mosh pits or anything like that.
Yeah, I stay away from that. I don't do all that. Yeah.
Like RIP to Juice World. Like we saw Juice World. I didn't know anything about Juice World. I knew like what is that damn song? Lucid Dreams or whatever.
Okay. Uh-huh.
That song that was super huge, but I didn't know anything about him. And
Yeah,
at the festival, right? He comes on, and then I'm with my friend, and I'm like, all right, let's go get some food right now. This is the perfect time for us to get food. We look back and we can't get out. It's so many people.
oh man.
And I'm like, oh, we're stuck. And like
Yeah.
he started performing and they like start mosh pitting. And like I'm getting thrown around like I've never been thrown around. And I'm like, yo, I'm not like super tall, but I'm like 5'10", 200 pounds. And they
Yeah.
moving me like I'm nothing. Like I was like, oh, this isn't it. I had to like pick this girl up. Like her boyfriend was terrible. He just like he left her to mosh pit, but she's like 5'2". So I'm like lifting her up so she doesn't get stumped out by all these people. And her boyfriend is sitting over there just running into people. I'm like, hey, that ain't for me.
No, I
That's
don't do it.
that's
I
not
don't
for
do
me. That's for that's for them. They can handle that.
it. For real.
I don't need to feel like a pain just to enjoy this. But
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out from back here. Cool.
yeah, I can vibe. Like some people though, some artists I get like you want to be super super close. Some artists I don't need to be super close. It just
Right.
depends on who the artist is.
And that's the thing too. Like some artists, you can be close, and it's not gonna be crazy like that. But you can
Yeah,
be and experience it in a good way. But yeah, those type of people, nah, I'm gonna stand back for sure.
I do know. Like we saw Beyonce. I was
Oh,
like, I'm so glad we're this close. Like,
yeah,
cause it's not gonna be crazy at a Beyonce show.
yeah. You never gonna get that too many times. So you gotta experience it how you can on
I was like, oh, we are. I was like, okay, this is
that.
her. They put on. I would say it's not the best concert that I've been to, But that was a concert that I left impressed more than any of the concerts that I've been
Yeah,
to.
I can see that. I can see that.
Because I like Rock the Bells probably would never be topped because one, it was my first concert, and like the lineup was ridiculous because nobody blew up yet. Like none of them blew up.
You can see everybody do their stuff before they take off.
Yeah, like none of them were superstars, so we got to see them early. So nothing would probably top that. But
Yeah.
I've seen some like shows, and I'm like, man, this is worth it.
Right.
And I've seen some, and I was like, wish I did not go to that. There's some artist like I don't want to. I ain't even gonna say her name, but there's an artist that I saw, and I found out she cannot sing live,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, ooh, this kind of
You can put some effects on that one. Right?
because you can hear like the was it the auto tune on the mic,
Yeah.
and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if the fans noticed that, but like I listen to a lot of music, I can tell that auto tune.
Yeah.
Like, you can't
Yeah.
sing, and then I thought it was like maybe it was just that day. Saw the artist again at a festival, way worse. Outside, way worse.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I probably know you're talking about too, because I ain't seen. I think I've seen that same person.
it was yeah. But all right, so what? I guess since we're on concerts, I'm just gonna. So I'm gonna just tell you this right now. I do a show called Wrap It Up as well. I'm gonna just use this as that because we're not even really talking about the records. I don't really care about that.
Yeah,
So,
whatever you want to do, man. I'm down.
but I guess what concerts have you really been to? Because we're talking about concerts now. I'm like
Oh
reminiscing
yeah,
on the
yeah.
good old days back when we
I,
could go out.
like I said, most of the ones I like to go to are whenever they're still on the rise. So a lot of the big ones I haven't like I've seen like I've been to like the Jay Z concerts or big the big stuff like that. But I like seeing them when they're coming up. So I've seen I don't want to say almost everybody, but I've seen a lot of like the popping people now, like Kendrick Cole, Big Sean, Crit, rest in peace, Mac Miller, all those dudes,
Mm.
Wiz Khalifa, Currency, all those dudes. I seen them when they were coming, like because of South by Southwest, we get to see them because they're coming down there just to try to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of times then, and then also when they come back to Texas, because a lot of people they're LA based or they're in their region. So sometimes we get lucky how y'all get in LA. So when they come to Texas, it's still like a 15, $20 ticket. So we get to see them whenever like their first time in Texas. And side note, I used to help out with like these promoters who would like bring artists. So I
Hmm.
got the behind the scenes and see a lot of concerts that way too. So
Mm.
that's how I really got to see like the Cole and Kendricks and stuff. Like for J. Cole, I helped throw his first Texas tour. So I got to see him the first time he came to Texas and Austin and San Antonio and stuff like that. So those are some, and like Kendrick too. Kendrick, whenever he first came to Austin, I remember Schoolboy Q was his hype man at the
Mm.
time. So like it's just cool seeing those moments, and they had like a whole little routine where they were like bobbing side to side and doing like all little things. But Q, he wasn't even like out there like that. He was literally his hype man, just like doing back vocals and stuff. He might have done a song or two of his own, but he was just Kendrick's hype man, and it was dope.
You know what's crazy? The first time I saw Kendrick, he was J Rock's hype man. But you know
What?
they're California based, so we know
Yeah,
like who they are. Especially
yeah,
because I'm from Southern California, we know them very well. But it was like weird because I'm like, oh, this dude is better. We can clearly tell, but he's hyping
yeah.
J
It's
Rock,
still
who's not like a bad MC, but like Kendrick's Kendrick. So we heard that, and I was like, oh wow. But I remember, like I used to work at this school called Maricosta. But when I was a student, we made this conference called United Black Student Conference. It was basically we got like a whole bunch of students, um, high school students, a whole bunch of people, We feed them. They go to workshops, and then we had entertainment at the end of the day. The first
Yeah.
year we could have got Kendrick, all of them. They were in the
Mm-hmm.
budget. We had the money. We were like telling the people like, no, no, they about to be big. Like, trust us. They about to
Right.
be big. They said, nah. So then we was like, all right, let's get Big Crit. Let's get Big Crit all the money, pay for his flight, pay for everything. The
Yeah.
school would not approve it. So we couldn't like pay for them. The next year, Kendrick's superstar. He's a
Yeah.
superstar.
Oh
Swimming
man.
pools and all that stuff come out. We're like, we could have had him.
Could have
And
had this
everybody,
nigga. He
we had
probably
money.
performing the same songs. Like
It was like we had them, and I'm
yeah.
like, that's why I was like, that's the only thing that I hated about working there. I was like, I got to get improvement to do stuff, and
Yeah.
that's another motivation factor for me. Like, I don't want to ever have to be like, oh, I need your improvement to do something I want to do.
Right.
So
Right.
that's another motivating factor. But like, yeah, that one hurt when we could have got them, and then seeing them blow up, seeing Big
Yeah.
Crit blow up, and all that, and we're like, because we this was before what is that? His big song, Country Shit.
Uh-huh.
This was
Oh yeah.
before that. Like that was already like buzzing, but it didn't take off like that. And then it was like we could get him. They said, nah, nah, we don't see the benefit. I was like, you don't see the benefit. People are gonna show up
Listen to this man every day. What you
and
talking
get
about?
it was a free, like people would have been seeing Big Crit for free. They would have been seeing Kendrick for free.
Crazy.
All they had to do was sign up to go to the conference, which they would have got fed, they would have got a t-shirt and free
Yeah.
entertainment. I'm like, y'all don't see the benefit of that. Y'all don't.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you.
I'll never get over that from them. I'll never get over that. I'm like, we had the money. Like I can most of the time when you try to get big names or names like that, it's oh we don't have the money. I was like, no, we have the money. You just
You
have
might.
to go through all this. It was like worst thing to ever happen at that. Well, not the worst thing, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
disappointing thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Damn.
But so what part of Texas are you in?
I'm in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
So I'm from Houston, but I came out here. I went to college at UTSA, so University of Texas in San Antonio. So since I went to school out here, I've just been here ever since, just doing my thing and just kind of branching out. Because most of the places in Texas, it's probably kind of like California. So from San Antonio to get to Houston, it's like 3 hours. To get
Yeah.
to Austin, it's like 2 hours. To get to Dallas, it's maybe like three and a half, 4 hours. So it's not too crazy to like go somewhere if you need to do something. So I think that's why, because I've always thought about, okay, well, maybe I should go back home to Houston, and because it's a larger market than San Antonio, or maybe I should go to Austin and do this and that. But really, like, I just figured just make my home base here, and then wherever I need to go, just boom, drive 2 hours to go to Austin real quick. We go on to South by for the week. We'll go down there, hang out for the week, and come back, or shoot to Houston. It's always home, so I got family there I can stay with, blah blah blah. So, but yeah, most of those places it's kind of like it is in California. I know it's some in California it may be a little longer for some stretches,
Well,
but it's like you can drive to LA or you can drive to a certain place if you need
people
to.
people um I mean, you're in Texas, so you definitely understand. But like people who are in like a big state, they think like, oh, you can just go here, like go to LA. I'm like, I live 5 hours away from LA. So
Yeah,
like to some people, they're from where I'm at to LA, you will be driving literally through like some states in that amount of
uh,
time. So I like have to let people know like we're not as close as people think.
right.
Like Northern California too, and like Southern California. I know we're all California, but
Uh-huh.
it's like two different cultures, two different sounds and music, two different, just so different. Like it get cold here.
I feel you exactly because, like you said, in Texas, you might be on one side, but you drive 8 hours and you still in Texas.
Oh yeah, we drove through Texas, We drove through
Yeah.
Texas to go to Missouri, and I was all like, I went to sleep. I was like, all right, get a couple hours, you know. I woke up, I was like, where are we at? It was like, still in Texas. I said, we still in Texas? I was out for 8 hours. What you mean? We still in Texas? Texas is huge. I did not realize how big it is. And then like the time zones is kind of weird.
Hours? Yeah, that's not that. We'll go there real quick. People do that and go out for the night. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go to Austin for the night and then drive back or whatever. So, it, yeah,
Yeah, California is huge. So it's like the sound in Texas, like for instance, like we have like in Southern California, there's a different sound than like the Bay Area. Like they have the hyphy movement and all that stuff. They have like a certain sound. So is it like that in Texas? Like is there like the Houston sound? Because I know like the chopped and screwed and stuff like that.
yeah.
Is it different in San Antonio?
It a little bit. Mainly the Houston sound, like that. That sound is pretty much throughout Texas.
Hmm.
But in every city, you do have your people who are starting to branch out a little more. So like every like your locals or like your main people who are there, they probably may have that Texas sound. But then you have your people who start to branch out, and you get like your like Kendrick sounds and your different artist type sounds because they may have that little Texas like slang in them, Texas like culture, but they'll kind of branch out of that Texas sound. That's mostly the people who move out of Texas. You're not move out, but like who get bigger than Texas. Because a lot of the times when you stick with that Texas sound, you stay in Texas.
Yeah.
So the
Well,
people who kind of expand their sounds a little bit and have that Texas still embedded in them, they can kind of branch out and start doing things in different areas.
yeah, because so like my favorite rapper is actually it surprises people all the time. I say Chamillionaire is my favorite rapper, right?
Yeah.
So he's from Texas, but like people who from Texas, when I tell them that, they get like, oh, okay. But like when I tell other people that, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, why? Right and dirty. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, there's more. Like
Yeah.
I was like, you have to like get into people's catalog. Cause
Yeah.
for me, I started listening. If it wasn't for Scarface, I wouldn't listen to any Texas music.
Okay.
Like
That's
before,
most. Yeah.
because when I was like, I used to be like, if it ain't from the West Coast, we don't rock with it. No New York here, no South here. If it ain't from the West Coast.
I feel you.
But since my dad is from originally from Alabama. So my
Okay.
dad would play stuff from everywhere because there's no big artists in Alabama.
Right. So you probably
Like
have like southern stuff, huh?
so he got like the southern stuff, but he also got a lot of New York stuff like Nas, Jay Z. So like he used to buy a lot of CDs, and I would listen to all of them, and I'm like, I need to stop being so closed minded and listen to some other stuff. And that's when I heard Scarface, and I was all like, yo, this dude, he's on another level.
Right.
He's just on another level. And then that's when I was like, all right, let me start giving other stuff a chance. And I don't know what it was with Chamillionaire that I was just like, yo, I really like this. Oh, I know what it was. It was the mixtapes, but I was like, because there wasn't an album that I heard that I was like, yo, this dude is just dope. So that's why I was like, is there a different sound in like Houston to the rest of the state? Because we have a different sound in California. So I don't know how it is in like Texas.
It varies a little bit, but it's mainly that Houston sound mainly goes throughout Texas. But of course, in Houston, you're gonna really get it.
Yeah.
But some of those other states they still have that Houston slang and everything like that, and like San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, places like that. But Dallas has their own. They got their own little movement too. They have I know a while back they had like the dancing stuff, like buggy and like jigging and stuff like that. So Dallas they got their own movement out there too. I would say Dallas is probably the furthest that you'll get a little outside of just that Texas sound.
Mm. So they're like Cause who? What's a big artist that's from Dallas? I know what's his name. DeRose from there.
Rose from Dallas. You know, there's another dude. What's his name? Bobby Sessions.
I just started. I just heard his album. His album's really good.
Yeah, Cash Page. She's from Dallas. There is another girl. I think I'm not sure, but I think there's a girl who signed to Gucci recently, 1017. I think she's from Dallas. I can't. It's either Dallas or Houston. So I think there's a girl who just signed to Gucci. That's from Dallas. Who else though? Big people.
Hmm.
Those are the main ones. Maybe one slipping my mind right now, but those are the probably biggest ones out of Dallas right now.
Yeah, because there's always like Houston. I would say Houston is like it's like L.A.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
always like a couple artists who are gonna be like just taking
Mhm.
over no matter what. That's probably
Yeah,
why it was so easy to for me to listen to like artists from there because I'm like, oh, this is just like California. Like
they got the same type
they're
of.
just southern.
Yeah. They got their locals who are like popping and doing their thing out there.
Like what's his name? So like, do artists literally just tour Texas? Like, because
There are
Texas is
some
big
people.
enough that you don't even have to leave.
Sure, yeah. People will just hit San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston, and probably other little spots
Cause
like
that's four big
yeah.
ass places you're hitting. Like,
Some people would do 5, 6, 10 dates all in Texas.
'cause I'm
So
just thinking of those, just those four alone:
right,
Houston, San Antonio, Dallas.
Austin,
You could hit Austin.
yeah.
That's four big.
Some go to like El Paso. What else? They have a few other spots that may go to that people may go to, but those four for sure. Like if you just in Texas artists, you can hit those and still eat.
Hmm. All right, so yeah, what time is it? Oh shit, yeah, my girl. But but all right, so the last thing, where can like people find you? I mean, I'm gonna ask you for your information so I can put it in the description below. But
Or I need to get your stuff too. Um, but for vibes only, that's mainly gonna be SoundCloud. So you can just type in vibes only, spelled just like that, and you'll see the main thing you'll see on to know it's vibes only. It has usually like a triangle sometimes, or if not, you see the play button. You'll see like a little play button for the covers. So that's the vibes only. Um, my social media is Kevin underscore McGee 33. And like I said, you can put it in the description and stuff too. But that's where you'll see most of my stuff. And I post like vibes on in my social sites as well. But
yeah, because I'm gonna put your playlist and everything in the description. Well, I'm new YouTube. Like I'm like new to all the YouTube and Instagram. I've been on Instagram before, but like I don't even handle Instagram. Like that's basically because me and my sister do a podcast, right?
okay.
And I let her because I hate Instagram. I
Yeah.
hate Instagram. So like I let her handle that. So I'm gonna just let you know. I'm gonna probably email you and then
Yeah.
follow you and everything. But like,
Yep.
you'll probably get an email response quicker than Instagram response because I don't be on Instagram because I don't like it. It's
Yeah.
just
Email me. I'll send you all my stuff in the email, and then your sister, if she just follows me, then I'll just follow y'all back and everything like that.
all right. All right. Thank you. All right. This has been the Harris Show. We are out until next time. Peace.